this is Tish Griffin here with Family Credit Management Services, and I am coming to talk to you about any types of problems that you may have regarding debt, finances, dealing with your creditors, and I want you to use Family Credit as a resource, so you be sure to go to Family Credit's website at www.familycredit.org or take down this number, 800-994-3328, and give a counselor a call. Now, I want you to know that the counselors are standing by to assist you with any type of problems that you may have. So if there's other questions that you have even after the show, you can reach out to a counselor and get your questions answered. So use them as a resource. Now, we come to you each and every single to talk about finances, debt, and taking control in your life as it regards to your finances. Right now, it is tax time, and a lot of people are really excited about tax time. They filed or been anxious to file because most likely we're expecting a refund. And with those refunds, a lot of times when you work each and every single year, the deductions that come out of your paycheck, the taxes that come out of your paycheck, sometimes we overpay based on where our income limits are. So with that being said, when you file your taxes, a lot of times you can get a refund back. And when you file, you're trying to check the status of everything. Use the IRS as a great resource for you. Now, if you go to irs.gov, and that is the Internal Revenue's website, there's so much information there that will assist you. If you want to contact the IRS directly, you can call them at 800-829-1040 and talk with someone at the IRS that can help you and assist you, walk you through whatever. If you're looking to file, you don't know where to go. They also have some options on their website where you can file your returns directly with them for a minimum cost. So yes, go to irs.gov. This is a great resource for you to have. Most people think IRS and they think, oh my God, don't want to call the IRS. They think trouble, but no, there's so much helpful information there. And I want you to, if you're starting a business, if you're looking to file your taxes, and one of the great things about it is it has your history for the past 3 years as it relates to your tax filings. So you do want to create an account. You want to make it something that you will remember and know that you have access to all that information. Let's say you forgot you had a W-2 or you weren't sure if you filed your W-2. You can go to that website, irs.gov, and you can log in and look at all of the W-2s that were issued under your name and your social security number. That way you can make sure that you've gotten credit for everything that you've done. Also, it keeps track, again, like I said, of your last 3 years worth of history or more. So if you're looking for your old return, you went to H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, someone did it for you, and you cannot find those returns, you can get an electronic copy by going to irs.gov. They're there for a reason, so use it. It's not always to scare you. Yes, they've got a lot of great resources available on that website to you. So please be sure to look it up. And again, use it for your benefit. Another thing that the IRS website is great for is if you are looking to start a business, you're looking to start an LLC, a nonprofit, any of those types of entities, you will need to get an EIN or employer identification number directly from the IRS. And again, going to that website, the best place to get that, the only place to get that. Yes, and you can do that for free. Now, if you are legitimizing your business, you want to go full force, we've got some videos that we talked about starting your own business before. But with that EIN number, it allows you to be in good standing. It allows you to collect your taxes on your business. So it's just really like your social security number for your business. And that's where you go to get that, from the IRS directly. Now, registering your business, making it legal, totally different story because each state is different. So there's different filings that you have to do. But I want you to be aware that that is one of the places that you will start and why the IRS's website is so beneficial to so many people. We're talking about this tax refund, though, that we are all excited about, right? So a lot of times people wait throughout the year after the holidays are gone. They say, okay, let me file my taxes so I can get that refund and I can get some money, thinking we're getting thousands and thousands of dollars. But really, the refund that we receive is based on how much we've actually paid in and any types of deductions or credits that we may be due for certain aspects of our life. Sometimes it's hard to see where we will end up, especially if you've never filed before, if you've skipped a year. There are different instances, but it's always good to go and do your filing, talk to someone, talk to a certified tax professional that can walk you through it. Be it you're going someplace like a H.R. Block or Jackson Hewitt, or you are having someone do it for you, or you're looking for a certified public accountant that specializes in filing taxes with your situation. Be it you're an individual, you're an entrepreneur, you work your W-2 job, you have side hustles, whatever the case may be, you want a tax care professional that will work with you. And keep in mind, a lot of people think that when I get my refund, it's going to be huge, or I want to go where I can get the biggest refund ever. And a lot of times it may not work out for our situation. We may get a big refund now, but we may pay the price for it later. So that's why we want to take some time and think about, what are we going to do with this refund? How are we going to use it? And how do we make it more effective and make the money work for us? So a lot of things when people get, when they get that tax refund, what do they think about? I want to go on vacation, right? I want to do something for myself. I want to take a few moments for me. But let's take a minute, take a step back and see where our financial situation is right now. Let's look at it. Let's talk about this, okay? First thing that a lot of people need to do is look at seeing if it's beneficial to pay off your debt first. Now, a lot of times people go back and forth on whether you should pay debt, what your situation is, and it really does depend on what's best for you. I can give you advice, but what's going to work for your situation depends on you and where you're at currently. First thing that you want to do, again, look at where your debt is. Grab that credit report. Let's write down what your expenses are. Let's look at any collections that may be out there. Do you owe any medical debt? Let's look at those things, get a list down, and then see how we should tackle it. You may find that writing it out, now you know exactly what you have, because think about it. We all get letters in the mail. We all get solicitations. You may get emails now that some of the creditors are starting to use that. Some people are using text messages, whatever that may be. Sometimes you may feel that you're bombarded, or you know that you always owe someone. There's always something out there, always a medical bill from when you went to the doctor. But let's take an inventory of those things. We want to pay attention to a few different things. Who we owe, what type of debt it is. We also want to pay attention to the last time they received payment or the date it went delinquent, okay? And the reason why I caution you with this is that not all debt needs to be tackled right away. We also want to look at what the interest rates are on the debts as well. So when you've got some collections on your credit report, you're looking at trying to make things better for you. We always say we know that that credit report is going to follow you. It's going to be there for years and years and years. But guess what? The score only looks at the last 2 years worth of history, 24 months. That's what that score is based on. So if you've got some older collections from 5 years ago and you've got a few from this year and a few months ago, we want you to tackle the ones that are more recent, the ones from a few weeks ago, for a few months ago, even a year ago, versus going back 5 years. Because yes, that debt is still there. We know it exists, but it doesn't really factor into your score as much as the ones that are more recent. So we want to first tackle those. Then with the older ones, if you do want to get them off over time, because I know some people feel like, hey, I know I owe them, but back then I just couldn't pay. I know I have that financial obligation, and that's understandable. So you can make arrangements with them. You can work to get that paid off. But is it a dire need when you're trying to improve things? Not so much. You want to look at those things that are affecting your credit and affecting it right now. That's the best way to go, the best step for you to take. So you want to look at seeing, should I tackle or worry about paying off this debt? Then we're looking at the amount that we've gotten, what our refund is. It could be a few $100s. It could be a few thousand. It really does range depending on what your financial situation is. But then let's see about establishing an emergency fund with that money. Yes, and when you're looking at an emergency fund, first thing that we think, or a lot of people think, hey, let's put up 6 months worth of whatever you make into an account to have for a rainy day. Well, emergency funds are not for rainy days. Therefore, if something happens, what can I do? What can I fall back on? If I can't work for a few weeks or a few months, how am I going to make it? How am I going to pay my bills? And that's what that emergency fund is there, which means if you are seriously saying that you are establishing an emergency fund, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that it's used only for emergencies. Now, you may say, well, I did need that new coat. It's cold. It was kind of an emergency, but was it? Really, was it? No, there's other alternatives that you could have done. You could have saved up for it. You could have continued to save for your emergency funds, but did something else to get the money that you needed for a short-term purchase. So it's like you really want to make sure if this is your emergency fund, be dedicated towards it. You know, you want to make sure that you're committed to making this emergency fund grow. And then we want to look at some different ways to make it grow. That's right. Invest in yourself. Let's see, even if it's not the whole portion of your tax return, think about it. What amount are you willing to say, let me invest? And a lot of people think, okay, investing, let me check out, talk to my bank. Let me see and check out some mutual funds. A lot of people say, let me look at stocks. Those are different ways to invest, but you want to do whatever works best for you. Now, if you're thinking about investing and you're thinking about the mutual funds or going that route, keep in mind that a lot of those funds need a minimum deposit. And once you start this, it's not something that you can go to like a checking account and withdraw from it or use it all the time. No, just like this emergency fund, we want to keep this money there and we want to watch it grow. Now, for some people, they may say, well, that's a little bit too risky. Mutual funds, they're great. They have great returns for a lot of people. You do have to stay proactive and watch what you're doing. But some people aren't that comfortable putting down that large sum of money for that. And that's okay. Some people want to play it a little bit safer. They don't have a whole lot of time and they're just okay making whatever return that they can make. For that instance, there are some banks, financial institutions, or some other accounts out there where they will pay interest on the amount that you deposit. So think about it this way. If you open a checking account and some banks, what happens is when you put your money into the bank, technically, you are lending your money to that bank. They're holding it so that they can make the other deposits when people come in and out of the bank. They have money on hand. So yes, some banks will pay you interest for that. Now, I've seen a lot of online banks come up recently where they will pay a larger rate of return on the amount that's deposited or saved in their banks. And keep in mind, you've got to keep it in there. It's not something like you're taking it out all the time. So if you have some money, maybe even just a couple of $100s, you want to put it in there. Let's say that they pay a 5% rate of return, which I've seen some that pay a rate of return better than that. Let's say 5% per month. Well, if you have that, you put in $100 and you let it sit there, the end of the month, you're going to have 105. So the next month that starts, guess what? You're going into that account again with 105. You only started with 100, but you are earning a rate of return of 5% on the amount that you're putting into the bank. So when you go for that second month, you've got that 105 in there. Now, guess what? They are going to pay interest based off of not the 100, but the 105, which will mean that they're going to add to it. And then next month, you're going to have more. So that's just an example of how you can use these little tips to invest in yourself and watch your money grow. Now, I only used $100, but just think, if you do more than that, you'll have a greater rate of return. But you always want to play it safe. Do your research. Make sure you know what rate that they are charging. Make sure that you know what you can make or what your return will be. Is it safe? It's up to you to do your research, because guess what? If you are using a bank and you are putting money into a bank, that bank needs to be FDIC insured. And with that FDIC insurance, what it initially says is that you cannot lose more money than you put in. Your money is safe. If something were to happen, if the bank were to go down, you would still be able to get your money back. A lot of people find out, or they're not sure when they look at different ways of accessing money, such as like, you've got the PayPals of the world, you've got different cash apps, those things that we look for quick ways to spend and get money. But is it really safe? You need to make sure that your bank is FDIC insured, which guarantees the money that you put into it up to $250,000. So that means that if the bank went down and you had $251,000 in it, you get $250 back. The one, it is a loss, which is why you're able to have multiple accounts. So even if once you get up to that $250,000, guess what? You can open another bank account at another bank. You can have as many bank accounts in banks as you feel comfortable with as well. So again, with your tax returns, you want to make sure that you are saving, that you're putting yourself first. If you are thinking about doing something extravagant, let's sit down and take a look at your financial situation first. And then we want to talk about what it is that we can do with those expenses, with the debts that we may have. Let's get some of that taken care of, because we don't want to carry around this debt forever. And guess what? Tax returns, they're there for a reason. Any types of bonuses that you may have during the year, they don't happen all the time. It's not a monthly thing. So we do want to budget for it, make sure that we're using it wisely, and don't use it all up in one day. Like some people, they're like, I can't wait for my return to hit. I'm going shopping. I'm going to the store. But again, we want to take care of your control of your situation. If you've got questions, feel free to reach out to Family Credit at 800-994-3328, and you can talk with a counselor. Also, on Family Credit's website, familycredit.org, there is a lot of different tools that are available to help you budget and plan for things like that. So you've got Personal Finance Made Easy, you've got My Spending Plan, and a couple of other tools, 100 Small Ways to Save Big, that will allow you to sit down with your budget, to break out your tax refund and see what it is that you can do to make this work better for you. There's a great section on investing as well, so that you can look at that too and find out just, okay, it's not just about the stock market, it's other things involved too. So you want to make sure that you have all of that information together. You want to make sure that you're looking to improve your financial situation. Over the next few weeks, we'll be talking about some other things that you can do to make sure that your money is working for you, especially relating to this tax refund. But if you are looking for help with your taxes, again, you want to make sure that you have come in contact with a certified public accountant or tax professional. You want to make sure that they are certified. You want to make sure, if you need to talk to someone that they've worked with in the past, that they have some testimonials, and that the testimonials aren't always just about getting a big refund, but you want to pay attention to the type of service that they are offering as well. So keep that in mind. And then you want to just do what works best for you. Your situation is different from mine's. Mine is different from yours. And so keep in mind, when you talk to different people, you may get different attitudes or different takes on what it is that you're trying to do for the future. But you want to keep that in mind and work on what works best for you and your budget. Again, Certified Tax Professional is a great place to start. If you have past issues with the IRS, again, you're looking at trying to work things out with the Internal Revenue Service, you don't know what to do, you can reach out to a taxpayer advocate. And you can go to the Taxpayer Advocate's website or call them at 877-777-4778. The great thing about the Taxpayer Advocate is they have they have an office in each state to help you, right? But they can actually help you by looking directly at what the IRS has. So they can get a feel for your situation. They know what you reported. They can see where you're standing and they can help you through it. That's the best help out there. You're not just wishing on a promise. You're not wishing on a prayer. But yes, they can see your actual situation. And then also remember, go to the Taxpayer Advocate's office and get the help that you need. Put in your information, your zip code, and yes, they're going to give you some great help. But also use the IRS's website as a helpful resource as well. A lot of people don't even realize you can call the IRS and talk with someone directly. And so you're going to go to irs.gov and look at what is there, what they have to offer. Get their 800 number. You can call someone if you've got questions, but make your account there because this is something that you're going to use for years and years to come. You want to have your login. You want to know what that is. And they've got different publications about any changes that have been made to the laws as well. And they make it understandable for you too. So you can even look up the information and see what's going on. So those are some great resources for you if you're struggling with dealing with the IRS. Now, back to our tax refund. The next thing that you always want to remember when you have some extra money is what? You've got goals. That's right. You've got goals that you need to accomplish, and you've got things that you've been saving for, planning for, and this is going to help you get there. So what can you use to either save more for your goal or to help you accomplish it even further? When you're sitting down to look at your budget, when you are writing your budget, when you're writing everything out, guess what? Your goal has to be clear for you in order for that budget to work. If you don't have a goal in mind with your budget, it'll never work. Your spending plan, you'll just keep spinning your wheels, trying to make things work and wondering why it's not happening. You have to keep those goals in mind. So with this money, this extra money coming in, let's see about it. What can we accomplish? Be it that we're going to put one extra month towards our savings goal, or we're going to go out and get what it is that we've saved for, or we're going to put more money towards our dreams, whatever that may be. This is the time to do it. You want to be able to save for your goals. Super important. The other thing that you want to think about, like I said, a lot of times when we get those tax refunds or we get that influx of money or we get extra money coming in, or we may even get something more from our employer, and we say, I am going to buy me something now. And so you also want to think about it. Do I want to improve my standings right now, or do I want to go ahead and make that luxury purchase? Now, what I'm finding is that a lot of people nowadays are less likely to go ahead and make a luxury purchase. A lot more people want to actually spend, they want to actually save more instead of spending. So that doesn't mean that you can't spend that money, but be smart when you do it. Look for sales. Look at the different times of the year for whatever items that you're looking to purchase, and you want to make sure that you're getting the best deal. A lot of places know, or these retailers know, how to get you into the store. They know how to get you to open your pocketbooks. So you want to actually do your research, make sure you know that you're getting a good deal, look up the item that you're looking for. Everyone is doing searches now. Do a Google search on whatever item that you think it is that you want to buy, be it a coffee pot, a TV, a car, whatever make and model. Even for the cars, you can look that up to see what are other people paying for it. Also, look to see if there's any discounts available. Look to see if there's a store near you that has it for a cheaper price, or if you should order it online. And of course, a lot of people are using Amazon to see about getting items, or they're ordering things that comes the next day. Then you want to think about that too. Once I buy this TV, guess what? That money's gone. Do I really need a TV? And with me getting that, am I creating more expenses within my budget that I'm not prepared to yet handle as well? And you may say, What do you mean? If you buy a TV, how's that more expensive? Guess what? Now you have to think about, you've got to plug it up, so that's electricity. But a lot of these TVs now, what do you need? You need either cable or the internet streaming abilities. We talked about this before too. With that, you want to take a look at your budget and see what ways you can cut back on that, and make sure that you're not getting yourself into more debt. You may say, now that I've got this TV, I want to get the NFL package. And guess what? It might be like $80 more than you're used to paying. So that's what I mean about making money smart decisions, making sure you're making your money work for you. So we will actually come back and talk about what you can do with your tax refund if you need help. We've got some other shows coming up that will address those topics as well. Keep everything that I've said in mind and reach out to a counselor at familycredit.org or call 800-994-3328, because we are here for you to give you the advice that you need. And you never know that if what you're going through, you find the help that you need, you be able to help someone else. So I offer that to you. Go ahead, pass that information on to, if you know somebody that's struggling with debt or finances, that needs help dealing with credit card companies, collection agencies, 800-994-3328. And then you can go to the website at familycredit.org. We will see you soon. Take care.